everyone, how are we doing? I am your last speaker. You made it. Hello. All right, let's do a little shaky, shaky. Everybody stand up for a second. Come on, I know you've been sitting down all afternoon. Do a little this, do a little that, right? Come on. Oh, feels good. Ah, fantastic. Okay, wonderful. So my name is George. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm the founder of Merchant Words. Just by a quick woo, has anybody ever heard of Merchant Words before? Fantastic. Anybody never heard of Merchant Words? Oh, yikes. Okay, fantastic. I got to tell you a little bit about what I do. Let me find the advanced thing and we'll jump right in full earnest here. Fantastic. So what we're going to talk about is how to put it all together. You guys have learned a lot of stuff. Is anybody's head like ready to blow up? We have a lot of blowing up heads up here. A lot of folks in the front are nodding. So we're going to put it all together to figure out how to win. A little bit about me. Years and years and years ago, long time ago in the early days of everything, I was a computer programmer selling a little stuff on the side on Amazon and eBay. And I figured out, I think the only way to really scale my business is gonna be try to figure out how people are searching for products, but not what they're searching for, how they search for it. What I mean is what phrases they use exactly. These long tail phrases, the different word orders, the misspellings, the completely different words. Some people call it baking dish, other people call it casserole pan, bag, sack, pop, soda. Everybody uses different stuff, right? I had to figure that out, and I thought if I could figure that out, then I could improve my listings so that I use the exact phrases that other people use, and man, I would connect with everybody searching, sell a ton more products. And it started working. I'm like, fantastic, this little thing I created for myself is gonna make me a millionaire. I shared that idea with a couple of seller buddies of mine, and they're like, oh, dude, this is super helpful. Could I have access to this? I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll share it with one friend. And then another one's like, okay, I'll share it with two friends. And finally they're like, forget trying to make $1 million on Amazon. Why don't you turn this into a tool? So basically I was scratching my own itch. I identified what I considered, and still consider to this day, one of the fundamental challenges of being an e-commerce seller on any platform. Solved a little problem for myself, and now I'm happy to say from years ago until now, we've created a business around it, and I'm happy to let you guys use a little bit of my data to help you solve the same problem. So that's me. Oh, dang it, I'm going backwards. But I'd like to get to know you guys a little bit. So just with a woo, let's get to know each other just for a second. It's only gonna take a minute. Let's see. How many people here use an iPhone? Any kind of iPhone, folks? Let me hear a woo. Woo. Nice. If you're an Android, any flavor of Android, woo. Oh, yikes. Okay. Is anybody brave enough to admit they still have a flip phone? No woos? All right, fine. I got a $100 bill here if someone was brave enough to say they, no, I'm just teasing. Okay, let's see. What else are we going to ask? How many people are from right here in Missouri? Anybody? Nice. Couple of Missouri. How many people are from what they would consider to be the Midwest? Nice. Okay. Anybody from the East Coast? Yikes. West Coasters? Okay. Wow. We got a few West Coasters. Anybody have to fly over an ocean to get here? Nice. Okay. I saw one license plate on a car in the parking lot from Canada. Do we have any Canadians? Oh, nice. Was that your car? Sweet ride, by the way. Okay, so we're from all over, right? We're very diverse. Hey, one more question just for fun. If your family went to Orlando to vacation, would you prefer Disney World over Universal? Disney World folks, let me hear the woo. Woo. Okay. Universal folks, let me hear the woo. Woo. Oh, nice. Universal. Way to go. Have you been to Hogwarts? Oh my gosh, love Hogwarts. Right? Okay. How about folks who love SeaWorld? Nice. Okay. Are there anybody here who would admit to loving Gatorland? I heard a woo back here. Yeah, way to go. Who was it? Yeah, way to go, buddy. High five from across the room. And I got to tell you, I personally love Gatorland, and I'm going to prove it to you right here. That's me at Gatorland. And I got to tell you what, the thing I admire about Gatorland is they know their customer. They know their audience. They're not trying to be Harry Potter. They're not trying to be Disney World. They know. In fact, you could probably fit 100 Gatorlands inside the parking lot at Disney World, but they know their audience. They just opened up a new attraction. I haven't been there yet, but guess what the new attraction is? It is a monster truck ride. Ooh, Gatorland. Love it. But the point is here, not just Gatorland. The point is that they know their customer. Now today, your head's been blowing up. The guy right here says head's about ready to explode. Your head's been blowing up with what I hope is fantastic tactics. for you to take back and grow your business. Make your employer happy. If you're the boss, make your company grow. Whatever it is, use these tactics, right? These tactics are also informed by strategy. Your plan to use the tactics to grow your business, to accomplish your business goals, that's your strategy. I want you to understand that I'm not here to detail 1,000 steps of strategic or tactical information for you. That's already happened today. What I'm here to do is give you some ideas about your philosophy, which I hope will influence and expand and inform your strategy and tactics. So what I want to talk to you about today is not click this button here, do this when this price raises below or above this strike point. What I'm going to hope to do is introduce to you some philosophical ideas. Anybody know who this is? Man, I should give the $100 bill to whoever knows who this is. I'll tell you his name. His name's Sam. Actually, 100 years ago, they called themselves Samuel. Nobody called himself Sam. This is Samuel. Nobody? All right. How about these guys? These handsome fellers right here. I'll tell you their first names. Oh, did I have a winner? Yeah. Orville and Wilbur, right? Okay, so you probably know what these guys were working on. These folks, and some others like them, were working on powered manned flight. They'd done gliders and stuff, and people have been flying balloons for a long time, but they wanted to stick a motor with a guy in some kind of airplane and not just shove it off and let it glide for a while. They wanted that thing to go, right? Everybody was working on this, and a lot of the people were really at the forefront of making this happen. Now, what you might not know, hoping for a laser, what you might not know about Samuel is Samuel was a established, well-respected, and a decorated scientist. He had invented all kinds of amazing things and done all kinds of scientific, awesome stuff. Also, he was the secretary of the Smithsonian Institution. Very well respected. Everybody knew him. And the Army said, hey, Samuel, we need you to build us an airplane because we think it'd be pretty good for, like, Army stuff. So we're going to pick you over any of these other yahoos, and we want you to go build us an airplane that we can use. And to help you do it, here's $50,000. Remember, this is like 120 years ago, right? $50,000 was a big deal. Gave it to Samuel. Samuel, what he did is like, okay, I cannot fail. This is super important. In fact, I won't fail because I'm the smartest, I'm the best scientist, I've got the most money, I've got everything you need to be successful. So what he did is he outsourced the engine to a car manufacturer because cars were just, had been around for a while, but they were important and big. And he's like, I gotta have a fantastic engine, better get a car manufacturer to build it for me. I better assemble a big team because all these people can work on different components and whatnot. And he thought he had the plan and the strategy all laid out. Of course, we know how it ended, right? But I want to show you some pictures. By contrast, what Orville and Wilbur did is they said, let's not go so fast, let's understand the problem, right? Let's not just take a little teeny thing that we flew in a test tunnel and just scale it up and throw it off the side of a house. Let's, instead of that, let's study birds. How do their wings shape? How do they curve when they fly? Does the curvature of their wing change? So they studied the problem. And then they tinkered with it. They were tinkerers by nature. Nobody gave them any money. They weren't well respected for any amazing scientific advancement, but they tinkered with a printing press before, and then after that, a bicycle shop. Everybody knows they used to run a bicycle shop. And they used the profits of those little tinkering hobbies, those small businesses, to tinker with their next experiment, the airplane. Well, Samuel Langley came up with this contraption. It's a gigantic houseboat on top of which is some cockamamie launch catapult platform thing, and on top of that is his big airplane with that gigantic motor that came from a guy who knows how to build car motors. And guess what happened when they pushed the launch button? There's a picture of it in mid-flight, if you can call it that, and there's a picture of it a second later, floating in the Potomac River. The pilot there survived. He got in one of those rescue boats. And then, of course, I don't have to tell you how the story ended. Orville and Wilbur's solution was this. It flew, not for a long way, but it flew, powered manned flight. The next one flew higher, the next one flew higher, the next one flew higher. They got incrementally better each time. So let's think about the differences. Oh, by the way, is anybody flying out of the Springfield airport? Woo, anybody? Springfield folks? Yep, okay, I'm going back to Springfield tomorrow myself. In the lobby where you get your bags, they have a replica of their flyer, the Wright brothers flyer, hanging in that space. Beautiful to walk around it and see. And you can really tell that it's influenced by a bicycle, the way the struts are put together and everything. Fascinating. If you have the time, I suggest you see, or just go to the Smithsonian and see the real thing. That'd be cool. But let's quickly break it down. Let's unpack the fact that he had $50,000 and he spent all of that money on building this contraption. The Wright brothers didn't have any grant, but they still spent $1,000 of their own money to build theirs. He figured that a 50 horsepower motor was needed to put this thing into flight. Orville and Wilbur, instead of saying that they needed the biggest engine they think could make this thing fly, they said, let's just build only the right amount of engine. And they built a 12 horsepower engine. Samuel outsourced it. He found a car manufacturer and said, build me an engine for an airplane. And the guy said, okay, I never built an engine for an airplane, but I'll do it. They outsourced theirs to somebody who understood flight. It was the mechanic who worked in their bicycle shop. Yeah, they outsourced it. They needed someone to help them build the engine, but it was someone who shared their passion. So in a sense, they didn't really outsource it. And then finally, and this is the big one, I didn't even mention this, Orville and Wilbur knew that just like a bird's wings, the pilot had to be in control to make adjustments. He needed to be able to curve up and curve down and right and left. So they built all that stuff into the curvature of the wings and the rudders and whatnot. Samuel's like, you know what? Since my little test thing that I did in the wind tunnel didn't have any of that stuff, I'm not going to put any of that stuff on the big version. We're going to stick a man in there, sure, but we're just going to shoot it off with no way for him to control it. Actually, lucky for that guy that the thing crashed right into the river, because if it hadn't crashed, it probably would have flown into some mountain, because there was no way to control that dang thing. Anyway, the point is that you should, in my opinion, pay attention. This is something that's going to sound kind of trivial. If someone asks you later on after this conference, like, hey, what did the last speaker talk about? It's like, well, basically he just told us the story of Orville and Wilbur Wright, and that was about it. No. The point of the moral, the takeaway here is pay attention. Pay attention to how a bird's wings curve. Pay attention to how the shapes change as the bird takes flight, as the bird turns and rises and dies. Samuel Langley didn't do that. The Wright brothers did. The other thing is, don't force your particular way on people. Samuel Langley had an idea about exactly how an airplane should work, and he brought that idea, his idea, into fruition. Went right into the river, but he brought it to fruition, right? So maybe in a way we should admire him. At least he did it, but he did it tremendously awful. The Wright brothers didn't necessarily take their idea and run it into fruition. They didn't force their way. What they did instead is they figured out the right way to do it as they went. So philosophically, I relate this to that old Aesop fable of the north wind and the sun. You may have heard it. If you haven't, it's a fantastic story. The idea basically is that the north wind, very powerful, is up in the heavens there in the sky, and he's arguing with the sun. He says, hey, Mr. Sun, I'm stronger than you are. What? I control more. I make the flowers grow. I make everything grow. No, I'm more powerful than you. Couldn't be, because I control tornadoes and blah, blah, blah. So they have this bet. All right, see that guy down there with his jacket on? I bet you I can blow that jacket off of him so the north wind goes or whatever, right? I may know a lot about Amazon. I may know a lot about e-commerce, but I don't know how the wind sounds. So basically, so harder and harder and harder he blows, guess what the guy does? Of course, obviously, he's clutching onto his jacket as hard as he possibly can. So he gets all worn out, and the fable goes on where now the sun takes his turn, and guess what the sun has to do? Nothing. He just shines. The sun just comes out and shines. There's so many examples of this in the real world. I don't know if you like the movie. A lot of people hate it, but have you ever seen the movie Contact? Jodie Foster. The aliens send down complicated patterns of exactly how to build this weirdo spaceship. I hope I'm not spoiling the story for anyone. And they build it exactly like that, except they added this big unnecessary thing. And she's like, we don't need this big unnecessary thing. They're like, nope, the safety engineers required it. So they shoot off this spaceship, and the unnecessary thing is just shaking and rattling. It's gonna like blow the whole thing apart. And finally, she just like disconnects from it and floats away. And all of a sudden, everything resolves itself. Okay, probably a bad analogy, but the point is, don't force it. Am I going backwards? Yeah, so what does this have to do with Amazon? Well, like I said, it's a philosophical concept I want to describe. And what I'm hoping that we can all avoid here is avoid a philosophical mistake. In my business, Merchant Wars, I've been lucky enough to talk to tens of thousands of Amazon sellers in various stages of progress, just starting out, maybe even haven't even started, just about to launch their business, already doing millions of dollars on Amazon at every stage. And I see the same Amazon e-commerce mistake being made over and over and over and over. This is the big Amazon mistake. It's actually an e-commerce mistake. If you're going to remember only one thing about our 20 minutes here today, I would like you to remember the one big Amazon mistake that I've seen tens of thousands of Amazon sellers make, and I would like to encourage you to not make it. And that is not listening. You need to listen. This is where you go, oh, that's it? That's what I was waiting for? I think this is super important, and I think it's also super easy to just gloss over. Realize how important this is, and let me kind of explain it in a couple different ways. The importance of listening to your customers is absolutely critical. I think it's exactly like Orville and Wilbur. On Amazon, just like building an airplane, you have to absolutely, positively pay attention, right? Pretend your customer is the bird in flight. Pretend you're going to invent an airplane. Pretend you have to shape the way. Pretend whatever you want. But the point is, listen to your customers. And don't force your way. Don't be a Samuel Langley. Don't take all the money you've got. Don't take the fact that you're fantastic because the world loves you as a great scientist. Don't take all of those things and have this hubris to just go think that it's going to work out exactly your way because you're the one who thought it up. You need to be smart enough to listen to your customers. And I've seen it over and over. Your customers are already telling you exactly what they want. Exactly. It's not like the birds flew down to Orville and Wilbur and said, hey, by the way, I see you're working on an airplane. I've been watching, and you do this when you do that, and when you flap like this, change your feathers like this. See how I'm doing it? Your customers will do that. They will fly down and tell you exactly how to shape your wings. You don't have to do any work. Your customers are telling you right now. They're screaming at you. If you work in customer service, you probably literally heard them screaming at you. But the question is, are you listening? Are you listening to your customers? They're telling you what they want. You need to listen. Okay, I want you to do this with your customers. I want you to visit each one personally, learn the Spock Vulcan mind meld, and say, excuse me, I'm an Amazon seller, and I noticed you've been shopping on Amazon. Just in case you might one day need the thing that I might sell one day, I want to do a Vulcan mind meld with you to, okay, now I know exactly what you're looking for in Amazon. I'm going to go find it from my manufacturer. I'm going to package it exactly how you expect it. I'm going to title it exactly what you're looking for. I'm going to put the perfect bullet points in to match exactly how it is that you think it should work, and boom, success, right? If only it was that easy. If only you could just visit every person in the world and do a Vulcan mind meld with them, then life would be simple. How do you do that without the power of the Vulcan mind meld? It's this. They're screaming at you everywhere. Amazon itself will tell you exactly where your customers are screaming at you. All you have to do is listen. I have a fun little hobby, and really, I should get better hobbies, but I have a fun little hobby where I like to go to Amazon, type in a noun or a product or anything, and then type the word with. Or type the word without, or type any modifier like that, and look what pops up. This was the whole foundation of my aha moment years ago, which launched the company, Merchant Words. This was my whole aha moment years ago, which made me realize what I think is the biggest mistake to avoid to scale an online business, and that is listening to your customers. They're telling you right here. Amazon didn't just invent this for fun. Some rogue algorithm in Amazon didn't just automatically say, well, let's put with and let's put without on all the search terms. No. People in the world are actually searching for pickles without vinegar. Right there below, same thing, pickles, no vinegar. There are people in the world who want pickles with no vinegar. Now, first of all, I'll be the first to admit that I know nothing about pickles. Honestly, I don't even know what like dill and butter and all the different varieties are. And if you sent me to the store to buy, my wife will nod in agreement. If you sent me to the store to buy pickles, guaranteed I will come home with a jar of the wrong ones. Right? I know nothing about pickles, but what I do know is people are looking for pickles without vinegar, whatever that means. And so what I do is I do that search. This is the Amazon search result page for when you search for pickles without vinegar. I know you can't read it, but to make it easier for you to understand what's on this page, I went through and on every single product, here, all the way down, I put a green arrow if it's a pickle that has no vinegar, which is what you're looking for, and I put a red arrow if this is something else other than pickles with no vinegar. Okay, ready to see the results? Boom. Every single product on that page, every single one, sponsored, organic, at the top, at the bottom, every ASIN on that page is not what the customer wanted. It's not pickles with no vinegar. The customer right here said, I want pickles with no vinegar. Actually, this is a search result page for pickles without vinegar. You can do the same search yourself on your laptop right now. Pickles without vinegar is what the customer wants, and every single one of these, nope. All of these have vinegar. In fact, some of these aren't even pickles. Let me jump in and show you. This is a close-up of the first couple of results. The reason Amazon's computers, now look, I'm not saying Amazon's at fault here, right? They've got pretty smart people working for them. I've met a few of them. They've got really great algorithms working for them. In many cases, it works fine. But the algorithm's not perfect. It couldn't figure out what you were talking about, so it shows you German pickles without preservative. So the word without made them go, ooh, that matches the second term of the user's 3-word search term. I'm not sure what without pickles means, but it says without preservatives, so since without matches without, we better show it to the user, right? Okay, from a math point of view, maybe that makes sense, but not from a give me pickles without vinegar because I'm allergic to vinegar or I hate vinegar or whatever. That's from that point of view, it's terrible. Next one down, same thing, without preservatives. Next one down, without preservatives. These all have vinegar, by the way, 100% fail. At the bottom of that same page, this is what I love, is not even pickles, it's chips. It's not pickles at all. And this down here is grape leaves that you wrap up to make those, little grape leaves. What do they call them? Dolmas. Yeah. And so, but the reason that Amazon algorithm chose it said here that one of the flavors of the chips is dill pickle. Oh, pickle matches one of the words they searched for. Down here it says one of the flavors of this chip bag is vinegar. Okay, well that matches one of the words they searched. Dummy, they searched for without vinegar. And they didn't even search for chips at all. Holy smokes. Right? So here we have a situation where the customer's screaming it at Amazon, and Amazon is just not listening. Now, Amazon's not listening, but the good news is you can listen. You can force Amazon to listen because you have control of the listing. Amazon doesn't have control of the listing. You have control of the listing. Well, I guess in a way, Amazon has control of everything, right? But you control the listing. So what I did is I went, actually, let me back up a page. Notice down here that this said, grape leaves in vinegar brine. Vinegar brine, what the heck is vinegar brine, I wondered. So I went to Google. Remember, this is not Amazon. Merchant Words doesn't get any Google data. We're all Amazon tool. But I went to Google just manually in my web browser, and I said, okay, what if I search Google for pickles without vinegar? What can I learn? Because remember, I told you I know nothing about pickles. I still know next to nothing about pickles. But I was curious about this whole without vinegar thing. And it said right here, oh, it's a recipe for dill pickles with no vinegar. It's a recipe for dill pickles with no vinegar. It's a recipe for old-fashioned brine fermented pickles. Okay, so number one, it is a thing. There is a thing of pickles with no vinegar. I learned something. Fantastic. And the thing is, you have, I guess, brine or you ferment it in a different way. That is pickles with no vinegar, is a naturally fermented in brine pickle, is a pickle with no vinegar. Well, you know what? I don't particularly like vinegar, pickles all that much anyway, so this really doesn't apply to me. But for the customers, remember the people I want you to Vulcan mind meld with, the people you should always be listening to, people who are screaming at you, those people, I'm sure some of them are allergic to vinegar or just don't like the taste, or for whatever reason, they're looking for it. And I think we should listen. So armed with this new knowledge that there's something called brine fermented or old-fashioned fermented or whatever, I went back to Amazon and I said, hey, Amazon, how about instead of pickles without vinegar, how about you give me a result for pickles naturally fermented? And then they went, oh, you mean like this right here, raw fermented? This right here, naturally fermented? Yeah, we got that. I'm like, all right, I'm learning. I'm getting down to the bottom of this mystery here. By the way, I hope, does anyone here sell pickles? If anyone here sells pickles on Amazon, all right, take some notes. Go back to the office and plug some of this in. Yeah, right. I'm glad I could help. But the point is, somebody's searching for pickles without vinegar, maybe without knowing or without caring how to search for it. The way they think of it is pickles without vinegar. And that's what they search for. That's why it showed up in the suggestion box in Amazon. They're not thinking of it as naturally fermented brine pickles. Now, do some customers who want this product search for naturally fermented pickles? Yeah, for sure. And do some of those customers find it this way? Yeah. But some other amount of customers search for it the other way, and those people are completely being alienated. Those people have no product to buy. So anyway, if we jump into one of these, this is exactly what the other people were searching for. The people without vinegar are searching for this, the naturally fermented dills. Now, if I was this, Mr. Pickleman, I hope you take some notes here, I was thinking that maybe up in here it should say, Cougarman naturally fermented dill pickles in cloudy brine. I'm not so sure how worried about how cloudy your brine is. Maybe clear brine would be okay with me if I was allergic to vinegar. But I'm thinking somewhere up in here should maybe say no vinegar, vinegar-free. I don't know, maybe it belongs in the title. Although you should be careful about your title. You don't want to slam too much junk up in your title, so maybe they don't need to stick it in their title, but for sure they're going to put it in their bullet points. Let me check. This is the real bullet points for that product we were just looking at. By the way, sir, do you sell Klugman pickles? This brand? Okay, good, because I'm going to beat up on them for a second. All right, we're going to use them as a bad example here. Their first bullet point, the first thing that they think their customers are going to be interested in knowing is, Please check ASIN B1GGPWMTY if you're interested in multiple jars of this item. I'm like, dang, you are such a bad pickle salesman. I'm not even interested in the first jar of your product. Why would I want 2 jars of your thing? Holy smokes. And then it says, stand out because they are allowed to slowly ferment naturally. I'm like, oh, here we go to the no vinegar part. Naturally ferment without any agent speeding up the process and no vinegar. Where's the no vinegar? Oh, okay, these cucumbers are used for dill pickles that are grown in a family-owned farm in Stockton, California. Oh my goodness, do you think I care where in California your pickles come from? Maybe, but I'm really after the no vinegar. And they're pasteurized without using preservatives. Yeah, without using preservatives and without using vinegar. They have so many opportunities to get that in there, right? No, fail, 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 all the way down. Okay, now I'm thinking it's got to be somewhere in the description. I know you can't read this, but trust me, nothing in here tells me anything about vinegar. They have so many opportunities. Diluted in a mild brine from the salt solution, after fermentation, it's a cloudy brine. They tell me everything about this, the fact that it has lactic acid in it, and all these other details about this, except the one I'm interested in, that it has no pickles. Unbelievable to me. Oh, looky here. Somebody mentioned the word no vinegars. Guess who it was? Wasn't anybody who worked for the company. It's the same kind of person who did the searching in the first place. It's their customers. This is the other place customers scream at you. Right here in this review. A customer said, excellent product, 5 stars, tastes good, and better for you than those vinegar pickles. Finally, someone mentioned that this product doesn't have vinegar. So if you're gonna avoid vinegar and you want the manufacturer to help you make the right choice and choose their product, apparently you can't use anything the manufacturer's telling you about the product, but you can use what some random reviewer said about the product. Kind of sad. I'm glad I'm not Klugman. I'm hoping one day somebody picks up on that. Okay, I got one more example for you and then I'm done. I know you're tired, I'm tired, we've been here all day. I can't wait to go do whatever we're all gonna go do next. But bear with me for one more example. Does anybody here sell barf bags, vomit bags? Anybody? Anybody? Do you really? Get out of town, you do not, yeah. I'm still waiting for the day that I meet the guy selling barf bags. But I'm gonna beat up on this person for a moment. And as far as I'm concerned, I've only ever seen vomit bags in an airplane. As far as I'm concerned, this white paper contraption here that's for sale only has one purpose. You stick it in the seat back of an airplane, and there it sits until some poor soul needs it, and blah, 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 and that's the only use, right? That's as far as dumb George knows. Remember, I'm the guy who knows nothing about pickles. Apparently, as you'll see, I know nothing about barf bags either, because in my mind, that's the only use. All right. Here are the bullet points. We'll get back to these later and see if they did a good job based on what the customer was screaming at them. But we'll get to the customers in a second. Their bullet points are 10 sick bags, okay, good. Sturdy construction, right, nice. Lined interior to hold contents securely, okay. Gusset sides, I'm not really sure what that is. And then exact, precise scientific dimensions, approximate, right. 235 by 125, approximately. And so these are the bullet points. This is their best this is what they put as their best foot forward on their product. This is what they told Amazon. Hey, Amazon, if anybody searches in your search engine 325 mm high by 125 mm wide, I'm instructing you to show this as a search result because we're a match. That's what they're telling Amazon to match with. Craziness. But they've committed what is the same problem, the same gotcha, the same trap that so many Amazon sellers fall into. They look at the product themselves and they say, it's my job to describe every physical attribute of this product, okay? And I know that that's an easy trap to fall into because if someone handed me a widget, whatever, this thing, someone handed me a widget, I'd say, well, it's brown, it's rectangular, it has 2 sides. I would start describing the features of the widget. It's an easy trap to fall into. But people don't actually search for the thing itself or the properties of the thing itself. What motivates people to search is the problem they're trying to solve, is the need they have. There's a famous quote, if I was a better presenter, I'd throw it up there on my slides, but there's a famous quote that said, people don't buy, oh, I need to hurry, okay. I will hurry, but people don't buy a 1/4-inch drill because they need a 1/4-inch drill. People buy a 1/4-inch drill because they need a 1/4-inch. Exactly right, we all know that, but we all commit the same mistake. We don't describe the problem they're having, we describe the attributes of the product. That's the mistake, that's the new philosophy I want you to remember never to do. All right, so let's jump in. best purchase I have ever made. Wow. This is a vomit bag, and it is the best purchase he has ever made. By the way, these are 100% real. I did not invent any of this. I just went browsing around on Amazon and find customers screaming. It says, I am suffering with morning sickness. Oh, morning sickness. There's a whole category of customer and use for this product that dumb man George would never have thought of. Oh, I'm such an idiot, right? A whole new category just opened up for me. Why? Because I unplug my ears and I listen. Customers are already screaming at me. Remember the big megaphone? I just had to listen. Okay, whoa, I've already been taken to product school right now. All right, and they've come in handy so I can keep a couple in my handbag when I'm at work, which puts me at ease. Nice, just having them in the handbag puts you at ease. Great. Bags are great quality. I'm going to order more. Fantastic, thank you. Let's see. Bought after I came far too close to vomiting on public transport after having too much to drink the night before. Oh, another use case, not the airplane, public transport, bus, subway, whatever it is. Yikes, if I'm standing next to some guy who fits this category, I would be very happy to make sure he had one of those in his bag, right? I would say that they're essential to carry just in case you need to throw up. Product is solid and should have no problem containing any fluid. So rest assured, fellow shoppers, I've checked it out. It's waterproof. It'll contain fluid, no problem. Okay, great, fantastic. We're learning a lot, not from the manufacturer, we're learning a lot from the customers. Not really much to say about these. Okay, well, you go on for another paragraph, but not really much to say about these. If you have car sick prone passenger, they are a must for the glove box. Okay, stick them in your glove box, good, good. Plastic lined with a nice flat bottom. Flat bottom, I wonder why that's so important. Once they have done their job, and I won't go into detail, I'm sure you can imagine, they will safely sit in the footwell until you can stop for the bin. This is a British guy, so trash can, right? Bin. They will sit in the footwell. Why is the flat bottom important to him? Imagine what happened to this guy before using this product. Imagine what happened to the other vomit bag he was using. Oh, Dad, I feel sick. No problem, son. Okay, hand that back. I'm going to stay right here on the floor. Oh. Oh, the next vomit bag I get is going to have a sturdy bottom. Right? In fact, I wish I knew that guy because I would ask him, did you search for sturdy bottom? Right? Is that, because it's clearly important to him. Okay, I think I have one more, maybe two. These look and feel pretty sturdy to help rescue a bad situation. Yep, sure, bad situation. They seem large enough to handle a breakfast or lunch. Okay. They seem large enough to handle a breakfast or lunch. If you're about ready to hurl, you need to make sure your bag can handle your lunch. All right? By the way, it doesn't mention dinner. I'm not sure if it'll hold a dinner, but it'll hold a breakfast or lunch. Anything more, and you have to really question what you're feeding him. It's like really, he's almost throwing shade back at you. It's like, look, pal, this vomit bag is only going to hold a breakfast or lunch, and it's on you if you eat more than a breakfast or lunch can hold. We have not yet had the opportunity to try them out, but I'm confident when the time comes, we are prepared and the carpet of my car will be saved. Another car guy, but what I love about this guy is he wrote a review. Think about this for a second. Remember, listen to your customers. He wrote a review and said, I have not had the opportunity yet to try them out. He pre-reviewed the product because he liked it so much. The product for him, the solution for him, the thing he's trying to solve is not actually containing the vomit, it's having the peace of mind to be prepared to be able to handle the vomit. That's his problem. That's his quarter-inch hole. That's what he's worried about. That's what we as manufacturers should, or sellers, we should understand and listen. That's why I'm saying it's so easy to fall into this trap of not listening, because sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes they're screaming, sometimes it's subtle. I think I have one last one, yeah. These are good thick bags, but be aware that sick bag is printed very boldly on one side, so it is not subtle. Okay, where are you going with this? I was not aware of that before purchase. Okay, we caught her by surprise by stamping sick bag on the side of the sick bag, but still, what's your point? Next time, I will make sure it is a plain bag. Being sick is hard enough without drawing more attention with a very noticeable print on the bag. Okay, holy smokes. So here's what happened to this person. They were at a party and they went, oh, I'm feeling a little bit sick. Quick, let me get the sick bag. Okay, I got it. Here we go. Oh, my goodness. Whew, I'm glad nobody saw that. Oh, it says sick bag right on the bag. Oh, no, now everybody's going to know what happened. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. As soon as I get home, I'm going to write a review that says I'm mortified because they saw sick bag on my sick bag. Oh, okay, now it's silly, right? I don't necessarily agree with that assessment, but still, that's a customer concern. That's what they're saying. So apparently, one of your customers, if you're a sick bag manufacturer, does not like the fact that it's got a big, bold sick bag on the side. Not saying it's right, not saying I'm wrong. All right, so you can imagine for a moment, here's the blown up bullet points. You can imagine for a moment the following. Keep in mind everything that customers just screamed at us. Try very hard not to commit that thing that I say everybody commits. Change your philosophy. Don't describe the product necessarily. Describe the people's concern or uses for the product. So let's take a look at these bullet points. Remember, these are all real bullet points. Let's take a look. 10 sick bags. Okay, I don't really have a whole lot of difficulty with that because that is what it is. It's 10 sick bags. Sturdy construction. Do you remember somebody talking about how sturdy they were? Right? Maybe bake in some of those concerns into this bullet point. This is my favorite. Lined interior to hold content securely. Remember somebody mentioned waterproof? Waterproofness was so important to that one guy. I don't know what kind of bags he was buying before. It was so important to that one guy. I mentioned it in his review. Maybe echo that right here. Gusset sides. Holy smokes. What's a gusset side? Does anybody know? A few people probably will. Yeah, okay, a few folks know, right? Dumb George here had no idea what a gusseted side was. Apparently, it's that little pleat that goes down the edge that lets it have a flat bottom. Because you have gusseted sides, you're allowed a flat bottom. Did the guy whose vomit bag tip over in his car give two craps about the word gusset? No, of course not. He wanted a flat bottom. So what I would do here is say, hey, this has a flat bottom so it won't tip over. And if you want to, if you really have to say it, well, that's because of its excellent gusseted sides, right? Tell them why it has gusseted sides. Tell them the problem you're solving for them. And here's my favorite. The last bullet point tells us the bag's capacity in mathematical precision. But has anybody else mentioned the bag's capacity without using such precise data? Yeah, hold your breakfast or lunch, right? So basically, these bullet points cover all of those concerns, right? Just using the wrong language. So, and I'm actually done now. I'm wrapping up. Sorry, I don't know how long I went over. But my takeaway for you, if you remember only one thing about our little chat here today, and that's this. It is so easy to fall into this trap. I didn't think so, but it is. I've seen tens of thousands of sellers do it online. You're going to do it. I've done it. We've all done it. We do it continuously. It's a continuous process. It's like remembering to exercise more or whatever it is, right? You just have to always remember to put your customer first. Listen to your customer. If you're building an airplane, pay attention to the birds. But if you're selling a sick bag, pay attention to what customers are telling you. If you're selling pickles, pay attention to what the customers are telling you. That is my challenge for you. Now let me just wrap up with this final slide. This is me. My name's George. This is my email address, and this is my cell phone number. If you called it right now, it'd ring right here in my pocket. If there's anything, try it. I think it's on vibrate, so I won't hear it. But if there's anything I can do for you, and I mean this seriously, if there's anything I can do for you, point you in the right direction. I'm not trying to sell you my stuff, but if I can point you in the right direction, help you solve any kind of problem, just find you the help you need, I will help you. I have been at every stage in an e-commerce journey. I know what it feels like. You might be working for a huge billion-dollar corporation, right? But I know you have particular problems that you're solving for that billion-dollar corporation. I know what that feels like. You might be your own boss, and I know what that feels like. I understand what's happening here. I will do anything I can to help you. And the last thing I wanted to say is Merchant Words is known as a keyword tool. For the folks who has never heard of us, Merchant Words is known as a keyword tool because we take all of those search variations, the one I was just making fun of, pickles without and everything, and we put them in our database and let you research through them. So you could totally do what I showed you on Amazon. Just look at the suggestions right off of Amazon. You don't need me. But we put it in a database, we aggregate it all together, makes it a lot easier. And the last thing I wanted to mention is we have a service, and if you'd like to check it out, I'd be happy to give you a discount for it, but we have a service where we will assist you in optimizing your listings. If you don't have the time, the inclination, the skill, whatever the reason is, we will take our extensive knowledge of database search terms and customer-centric search terms, and we will optimize your listing for you. If you'd like any more information about that, please just go to merchantwords.com/LA. That's for Listing Advisor. That's the name of our product. And it has been my great pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.